How to pass a literature quiz without reading the actual material. It's 1 week until your literature exam on Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, but you haven't even cracked open the book. Rather than panic, consider how you can still pass your literature exam without reading the actual assigned material. Keep in mind any copying of information word for word from another source to then use in your exam is considered plagiarism and could lead to a failing grade. Method 1. Using class notes and class resources. 1. Read over your notes on the material from class discussions. Many literature courses will hold class discussions on key topics or themes in the assigned text. If you took notes during these discussions, refer to them to help you study for the literature exam. Often, detailed class notes can help you identify possible exam questions. Your teacher may even remind you to highlight certain quotes from the assigned text in preparation for the exam. 2. Ask your classmates for study help. Reach out to any friends in the class who can help you study for the exam. They may offer to lend you their detailed class notes or recommend certain themes and details you should keep in mind for the exam. You can also agree to a study sessions with a friend who has completed the assigned readings in exchange for dinner or a coffee. Often, discussing the assigned text out loud with a knowledgeable friend can help you remember key points of the text. 3. Talk to your teacher about study sheets or guides for the exam. Your teacher may provide study sheets or guides for the literature exam that can help you get a sense of what to expect. Your classmates may also be able to provide a study sheet that contains quotes or passages of the text that you can then refer to when you write the exam. Method 2. Using other versions of the material. 1. Research the material online. Use the internet to your advantage and do a search of the novel title to read a summary of the material online. Be wary of poor online sources and look for educational sources or information from a trusted study source. Keep in mind you should not copy any information online word for word in your exam. Use the information about the book online to help you get an overall picture of the plot points, the main characters, and the main themes of the book. You can then use this information to answer the exam questions. Look for online resources that are known study websites and have a detailed breakdown of the text. You can also use the online resources to pick out key themes and terms from the book that you can then use as search terms to find more information on them. This information will likely be useful when you write the exam. 2. Read online discussions that contain quotes or passages from the material. When you do an online search of the material, focus on reading notes and comments that contain quotes or passages from the assigned text. This will allow you to get a sense of the tone, language, and style of the assigned text, which will likely be useful in your exam. Doing this will allow you to read small amounts of the assigned text, rather than the entire text. 3. Look up other texts about the material at the library. Head to your school library and do a search for reference articles or texts about the assigned text. Often, there will be scholarly articles on themes or characters in the text, as well as shorter texts that contain a synopsis of the book. This will give you a fundamental understanding of the material and reference points you can use in your exam. 4. Watch a film or television version of the material. Depending on the assigned text, you may be able to find a film or television version of the book. However, some film or television adaptations may change around certain elements of the original book and you could end up viewing a version that deviates from the text. You can check online to see if a television or film version of the film is available, as well as at your school library. Make sure you compare a synopsis of the text with the synopsis of the film or television adaptation to check for any discrepancies. You do not want to summarize a film version of Crime and Punishment in your exam, for example, that includes a drastic ending change. You may have to view several different film or television versions to find one that is close to the events in the book. Method 3. Assessing the exam questions. 1. Read the questions carefully on a multiple-choice exam. Though it may be difficult to do well on a literature exam with multiple-choice questions if you have not read the assigned text, you can use certain methods to improve your chances of doing well. It's important that you take your time and read each question carefully to ensure you understand what the question is asking and to find possible clues or hints within the question. Look for qualifiers in the question. Qualifiers are words that alter a statement, such as always, most, equal, good or bad. You may be given a statement that has a qualifier and asked if it is true or false, such as, Raskolnikov is always angry at the world in Crime and Punishment. The qualifier always makes this statement false as it is too extreme and unlikely to be true. You should also look for negatives in a question. Negatives are words like no, not, none and never, as well as prefixes like illogical, uninterested, or I'm impatient. Remember that a prefix is the same as not, so illogical means not logical, for example, and impatient means not patient. You may be given a question like, what does Raskolnikov do that is illogical in Crime and Punishment? The question is really asking, what does Raskolnikov do that is not logical in Crime and Punishment? Use grammatical clues in the question or the multiple-choice options. Try to eliminate multiple-choice options that do not make sense grammatically, even though they may contain correct information. For example, you may have a question like, in Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov commits his awful crime A. due to madness B. because he is from Russia C. there is no justice in his world D. as a result of a young student's speech in a bar. Answer option C is missing a connecting phrase and is not grammatically correct when placed after the beginning of the statement. As well, answer B has no connection to the crime in question. You can then eliminate these two options and are now left with option A and option D. 2. Budget your time and create an outline for an essay exam. If you are heading into an essay exam, you may have limited time to write the essay. Focus on maximizing your time by brainstorming and creating an outline before you write the essay. You should do some online research about the assigned text before the exam to help you create an outline around the essay question. Be sure to read the essay question several times to ensure you understand what you are required to do in your essay. You should then brainstorm a thesis statement. Use your online research to help you create a thesis statement in response to the essay question. You should then create an outline for the essay. You do not need to follow the 5-paragraph essay format unless your teacher specifically asks for a 5-paragraph essay. Use your thesis statement as a guide for your essay and always include an introductory paragraph and a concluding paragraph. If you are not following the 5-paragraph essay format, you can write as many paragraphs between your introduction and your conclusion as is necessary to explore your thesis statement. 3. Prepare your ideas and statements before you take an oral exam. If you need to take an oral exam for your literature class, you should always prepare a few days before the exam, even if you have not read the assigned text. Use your online research or a study guide provided by a classmate to help you prepare for the oral exam. Being prepared for the oral exam will help you do well, even if you did not read the assigned text. You should be prepared to lecture on the material. You will need to present your ideas clearly, give example from the text to support your ideas, compare different approaches or concepts in the text, and defend your ideas with eloquence and clarity. Begin by writing down your oral responses and practice them so you remember your responses and can recall them quickly. Use a mirror or a blank wall to practice your oral presentation. You should speak clearly and confidently, using eye contact and not simply reading from your notes. If possible, you should also practice with your classmates or other students who are also preparing for an oral exam. Have your peers ask you questions that your teacher may ask you so you can practice your responses.